to get something back from that. I would be, if anybody has questions about legislative things, I'm happy to try to answer those. I would say that at this point, those are educated guesses. My responses right now, because nothing is really set yet. We have our budget hearing on December 13th, so I'll have to present that to the Legislative Finance Committee, and they will want to know what our priorities are, and then they'll ask us all sorts of questions to find out what we're doing and that kind of thing. So we will also be trying to get an overall increase to our general appropriation, which can be spent in many, many different ways, including compensation. So I'll keep you posted on that. So before I turn things over to Donna, I just wanted to say a few things about the Interact visit and where we're going to go with all of that in the upcoming weeks and months and everything. So I took the report, first of all, that Mary and Diane put together, and what they gave me was a compilation, first of all, of just everything. So anything that was a comment, even if it only showed up one time, I got it. Everything is completely anonymous. I want to reassure everybody of that. I have no idea who said anything. But there were many things that showed up many times, and those are the things that I really want to focus on. The number one thing I'm sure no one will be surprised about is salary compensation. And then people also mentioned a career ladder, which I think is a really important thing to talk about. So I'm going to let Donna talk about that in a minute. I'm trying to really tee Donna up. But I do want you to know that that was by far the most consistent comment that I saw there. And then one other thing, and this Donna's going to talk a little bit about this too, is an improvement in faculty and staff onboarding. We've talked about this for years. When I first came, this was a concern. We started digging into it. Then we had a pandemic, and we were just trying to have school during the pandemic. And so I don't think we could make very many improvements in things like onboarding. But now things are different, and so we will be working on that. Student onboarding was also something that came up. There's been a lot of work in student onboarding that's happened within the student services area. Thomasina and her teams have been working on a smoother path for student. This will also be tied into the Workday Student Information System project. So in order to develop a smooth and efficient and modern, high-functioning student information system through Workday, we need to have our own processes in really good shape before we do that. What Workday and the vendors call what a lot of people do in these kind of integrations a lift and shift. That's what we want to avoid. We don't want to just take what we're currently doing now, which is okay in some cases, pretty good in some cases, and not that great in other cases, and just move it into Workday and deal with it. Apparently, that's what a lot of people do. So what we will be working on is looking at the processes that will be moved to Workday gradually over the next 4-year cycle, and looking at making them better and looking at what we truly want the student experience to look like. What is a world-class student experience, and how do students move through our system? At which points do we intervene? Things like that. So there's been work that's been done on this, but we have more work to do on this, and I recognize that. And that is a little bit of what I'd like Interact to help us with as we move forward. So we know too, through our Title V grant, we have a new grant that started 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago, the Exito grant. So we're on finishing up one and starting a new one. And part of that grant calls for the purchase of some sort of nudge software. I don't know what that'll look like. There are a lot of different companies out there. Whatever we do, it needs to not only integrate with Workday, but we need to look at the timing and the sequencing of all of that so that we don't buy something, implement it, and then have to tear it down in 2 years and not use it anymore. I find that very frustrating, and I think there are people who in IT who find that even more frustrating than I do. So we want to make sure that there is movement and progress in student processes in a timely fashion, and that integrates well with Workday. Santa Fe Community College is, I would say, almost uniquely positioned in this project because Tomasina is one of the leads for the student services, the student information system implementation. So we are at the forefront of that effort, working with all of our peers from the other colleges. And remember that one of the chief things that we hope to gain by changing the timeline on the student project is that all 6 colleges are participating at the same time now. So we won't have waves, we'll have one implementation with all the colleges participating together, being able to really kind of leverage each other's strengths as we move forward and create a new experience. And then the other thing that I noticed a lot, very, very consistently in the Interact information are the issues with signage and with wayfinding on campus. Several people mentioned signage in Spanish. I think that is certainly something that we need to look at and see how we can do that, where we need to do that. So that will be a big part of the project that we do with our bond money as we start figuring out what does the student hub need to look like, where do students need to go through the whole student journey, how can we make that more consolidated so students don't have to practically go from one end of the campus to the other. They truly could if you don't know that you can go back out and go across, you can go up and around and all of that. I saw a map that Andrea Muller had constructed that was an aerial map that just showed all of the different points that a student has to make contact with while registering. And that it's a pretty powerful visual about how spread out we are. It's a common thing, registration changes over time. The physical campus is the physical campus, so we have to really work on different ways to adapt to the space that we have. But now we have an opportunity to do some modifications to the space that we have to make better use of that. And as that work starts up, there's always a time lag. So you have the election, then they sell bonds and do all that. So it takes a while to get the money. But once we know that we will be getting the money, then we'll engage architects and planners to start that process and get going on it and see what we can really do. So the primary thing that I would like to do with Interact as we move forward is to engage them on what they call a program lifecycle review. This is not academic program review that the faculty and deans do in academic affairs. I know there's been a lot of upgrades to that process that people seem to be pleased with. So that is a separate thing. This is looking at the environment that we're working in, looking at all of the particular social issues, political issues, economic issues that are going to impact higher ed as we go forward in the next few years, and trying to figure out how those are going to impact what Santa Fe Community College is doing and should be doing. And so that means looking at all of our data in those areas, looking at our student demographic by program, and trying to see if we have programs that need to be modified, whether we need to add programs in certain areas, all those kinds of things. This work will be done mostly by the faculty and staff at Santa Fe Community College. So Interact will provide the structure for this, help us set up committees, help us figure out which things we need to look at, but the actual decision making in terms of what the data means will be done at the committee level. So one of the other issues that I saw raised, and this has been, people have raised this, concern to me before, is that faculty and staff would like more meaningful input into big decisions that are made. I would say these are some of the biggest decisions that can be made. And so this has to do with things like, where we focus our resources. And these are big decisions that we need to be looking at in terms of where we want to invest going forward several years into the future. And I would like for committees that are comprised of faculty and staff at Santa Fe Community College to be reviewing that and making those decisions. As I mentioned, the structure will come from Interact. They will help guide those committees. So it's not like you're just given this general task and said, well, go figure something out, because I think that's a terrible thing to do to people. We'll have a lot of help and a lot of structure built around that. There will be a steering committee that is more at the administrative level, but that's more to just kind of review what's being done. I think this gives us an opportunity to really work together in a capacity and at a level that we just haven't really done for a while. And so I'm really looking forward to future meetings with Mary and Diane. None of this has been, there's no contract. We haven't decided on all this definitively. I've met with them a couple of times since they've been on campus, but this is really what I'm telling you, what I think we need to do. And, with their input in terms of the information that they gathered when they were on campus too. And finally, before I turn this over to Donna, the other thing that we will be doing, part of our work with Interact involves a media preferences survey. And, this whole interaction with Interact came from a request for more consultation on communication. What usually happens is that when you come in, you talk about communication, and a lot of times the issues are not genuinely communication. I mean, they can come to the surface through communication channels, but there are deeper underlying issues like pay, like not having meaningful input into decisions, things like that surface as the real issues that we need to work on. But we still need to figure out, how do we need to communicate with each other? How do we communicate with our students? And at least find out from this survey that they've upgraded it over the years, but it's something that they're kind of known for and they've done for a long time. But to find out which channels we should be using, which channels certain segments of our population are much more likely to respond to. And I'll share that information when I know more about, dates and things like that. So right now, I'm going to stop for a minute, and I'm going to introduce Donna Castro, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer at Santa Fe Community College, and let her update you on what she is working on with the salary study and just some other really important stuff that's going on in HR. So Donna, are you here? There you are. You're on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rowley. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I do want to talk about the salary study first. I know that's really important to everyone, and it is an important project. One of the things about having a salary study is that what it does for us is that it allows us to have compatible, equitable, and fiscally sustainable pay practices. And I think that's important to all the employees. Plus, it helps us recruit and retain key talent. What we've started to do is we've put a committee together, and that committee consists of representatives from the Staff Senate, the Faculty Senate, the Collective Bargaining Unit, the Finance Office, Budget Office, Human Resources, and the Office of Planning and Quality. Our first step in this process is to finalize a request for proposal, which is an RFP. In this RFP, it will define the scope of the entire project. Once we finish the RFP, we will send it to vendors. Then we'll interview vendors as part of the process, and then we'll make a recommendation to the executive team, recommending one of the vendors. Once the contract is issued, we'll work with the contractor to develop timelines and work plans for each phase of the project. Once we complete this, then we're going to ask that the vendor come and present the project details to all the employees of the college. And then throughout the project, the team will provide monthly updates to all employees. Just that way you know how we're progressing, and what step we're on, and if we're meeting the goals and the timelines of the project. We are hoping to have the study completed before the end of the spring semester. This is very important because, as you know, it will take dollars to fund the project. Therefore, we need to get this done and decide what are the first steps of implementation prior to the beginning of next fiscal year. And so that is what our goal is. As part of the study, though, I do want to let everybody know that a few of the things that we're going to do is we're going to review our current pay structure, and we're going to, of course, get recommendations from the vendor as to how we can modify it and make it a better structure and an easier structure for us to use here at the college. We will reviewing all positions and all job descriptions. And this is where I'm thinking that we're going to be able to build some career ladders into our current structure. One of the best examples I can give when it comes to career ladders is in the accounting office. Many accountants, when they come out of school, they come out with their accounting degree, but they do not have experience in the field. So at that point, we could think about structuring an accounting 1 position, and then an accounting 2 and 3 position based on years of experience. So I want to take a look at that, and the team will assist in all of this throughout the college to see what are our opportunities to develop those career ladders within our current system. And so at this point, I'll entertain any questions that any of you may have on the salary study and the plan moving forward.
Looks like Lenny has a question.
Okay. Yes, Lenny.
Hi there.
Hey.
Can you clarify? I've heard different things from different people. At one point, this was going to be a salary study only for staff. Is this a salary study that includes staff and faculty? Who's involved in this?
Yes.
What positions are involved in this study?
It will be all staff and faculty positions will be included in the study.
Great. Thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome. Yes, Kristen.
Hi. First of all, we really do appreciate the ongoing advocating for the raises. That's great and helpful, and I'm excited about this study. One thing I've noticed because I've been trying to recruit a number of new staff members to our department, it seems as though those increases haven't applied to the unfilled job postings, because the job postings, the range seemed to be the same range that we had 20 years ago. And that makes it really hard to recruit people. So I don't know, I just thought I'd put it out there. I don't know if when we get 10 or a 10% raise or whatnot, that's also being applied to the range that we're putting out there.
It actually is supposed to be. So if
Okay.
you would like to send me an email with those positions, I will definitely take a look at them. Because anytime we adjust the ranges every fiscal year, those ranges are also adjusted for recruiting purposes.
Okay.
So yes, please send me an email because I was not aware of that.
Okay. Thanks. Will do.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Well, I'm excited about it. And, we are going to need everyone's help in this because as part of it, we're going to be reviewing job descriptions, positions within the department, and trying to come up with some really good ideas to make our compensation package, a little bit better, but then to also offer opportunities for our current employees. And so I appreciate everyone's help on this. There are a few other items that I would like to talk about. First of all, it's a really busy summer for us here in HR, and the fall is proving to be even busier than the summer. Just to give you an idea, in the year ending August 23, so from September 22 to August 23, we hired 105 new employees. And that number doesn't exclude the adjunct faculty and student employees. So just to kind of put things in perspective, just to kind of show, how much time we spend on recruiting here in the office. I just thought I'd throw that in there. And then also I wanted to let you all know that we are going to be starting the open switch enrollment period on Monday, on October 9th. We are going to be utilizing the open enrollment functionality in Workday. So this is something very new. So we've been testing it and we will be ready to roll it out on Monday. So when you come into work on Monday, you log into Workday, you're actually going to have a task in there. However, we are asking that before you initiate that task, we want you to review the information that we're going to start sending through tomorrow. And this will just be information comparing the different plans that are out there for medical and dental. And this is the time, the only time during the year that you can actually switch your medical and dental plans, or you can add or drop coverage. Okay, so it's a really important time. It will run through November 9th. And so it is a month long. And we will be sending out the tip sheets that Chess has been working on to help you walk through Workday. But of course, our door is always open. If you all need help, you are welcome to come in and we'll help you get through that process. Next, we are currently recruiting for an additional HR coordinator as well as a professional development manager. And so as soon as these positions are filled, our plan is to work on the onboarding process and to develop a new employee orientation program. Onboarding and new employee orientation are two different things. A lot of the onboarding is just where people fill out their new hire paperwork and such. But new employee orientation is more important than that. New employees, it's really important that we at least give them, a tour of the campus. We go over our policies, our procedures. We review benefits in great detail. Usually a new employee orientation program will take a few days, not full days, but it will take some time to get a new employee oriented at the college. So we'd really like to get that started. I was told that at some point there was a task force working on this project, and Dr. Rowley mentioned this as well. So what we thought about doing is putting a focus group together with some of our employees that have been here a while and some of our recent hires. And that way we can get a good idea of exactly what our employees, what are they needing, what are they lacking, and that way we can, we can build a very good, thorough orientation program. And so as soon as I get these 2 positions filled, we'll start moving on that program. And, one of the last things I did want to talk about is our policies, our procedures, our administrative processes. Here in the office, we do recognize that a lot of our processes are not documented. Therefore, it creates confusion and frustration. And so we are working on documenting our processes. However, what's taking us some time is that we just don't want to document what's always been done. And so we're looking at streamlining our processes at the same time we're documenting them. And so I know we've worked with a few departments to get some of our processes streamlined. As far as it affects that department specifically, but we are working on this. It is taking some time, but we do ask that you bear with us and give us some ideas. If you have ideas, people have come to us in different departments and said, this isn't really working. Can we try this? And we're more than happy to adjust processes and just take a step back and look at them and really try to figure out what's working and are there things that we're doing that really aren't necessary. And so please, if you have ideas, send them to us. We'd really appreciate your input. Many of us here in the HR office are new to Santa Fe Community College. We've been here for a little over a year, so we do appreciate the feedback. And lastly, we are also in the process of reviewing our policies and our procedures to determine if we need to modify them or if there are any areas where we may need to add policies. I know one of the issues that came up during the Interact sessions was the lack of a good remote work policy. So we are taking a look at that, and we will be submitting that to the executive team for review, probably early spring. Yash and I have discussed looking at all the HR policies, but we're kind of moving that to the spring. We want to get our administrative processes in order. We want to make sure the salary study is on the right track, and then we will we'll work at updating and submitting our policies for review. So are there any questions? I know that's a lot to think about, but.
That is fantastic news, Donna, all of that. And so do you have everybody that you need for your review committee for the salary study?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
good.
I received all the confirmations as of this morning.
Great.
Yep.
That might be what Tony Coughlin was going to ask about. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes, and so I think that you've answered a lot of questions. Anybody have any other questions for Donna? It's really helpful information. Bobby.
Hi, Donna. I appreciate all your information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I am the campus Title IX coordinator, I want to make sure that in all the implementation that we do of any processes, I can work with a liaison from the HR department And I'm hoping you and I can identify who that will be so that I can have a representative for staff as well as students. I'd like to just put that on your to-do list.
Okay, okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
SJ.
Yeah, Donna,
Oh,
I just want to thank you. This is just, it's just really unbelievable. And thank you for all your hard work. It's really moving.
Thank you, SJ. I appreciate that. I really do. It's just taking some time. You know, it is a lot, and we just want to do a really good job for you all.
Tony.
Hi, Donna.
Hi.
I was asked yesterday to recruit some faculty members, and I've been working hard today to get you some faculty members on that salary committee. But you said you already had some, and I had some
Oh.
additional names for you.
And actually, so what I believe that Jared had said he was going to attend. And so if you do have an additional name, I don't know that Jared is going to want to be a permanent member of the team, but you are welcome to send me that. Send
Okay,
me
well, I
that
had
name.
several names. I didn't know how many you needed.
Well, we don't want the committee to be too big, but
Okay.
we could accept 2 names if if you'd like to give us 2 names.
Okay.
And then, we'll see the time commitments. I know that there are some people that may not be able to commit to what's going to be necessary.
Okay.
But yeah,
How much-
let's talk. Yeah, let's
Okay.
talk about that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Looks like SJ, you have another?
Oh, no, that's an old hand. Sorry.
That's an old hand. Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure. Yes, Donna, I had told people that if they were not clear about the assignment, that they should come to you because I didn't know. I have no idea what the time commitment is for anything like that. And I didn't want to mislead anybody and make them think that it was something that it was.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all of your hard work. Thank you for all that you're doing for the college and for all of us. And we really, really, really appreciate it. And thank you for updating all of us. You're probably going to get to be a regular guest in these meetings because I think you're the one people really want to hear. You have the most salient information generally.
Oh, that's
So,
fine.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Does anybody have any other questions or any other comments? All right. Well, I hope everybody is having a great semester. I cannot believe that we are just about halfway through the semester. So here we go. And again, if there's anything that you think of later that you want to discuss or you want me to know about, please let me know. Send me an email, give me a call, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. And I just want to say again how much I appreciate all of the hard work that everybody is doing. It's nice to see people on campus and things going on and everything. But then we still have this lively online world going out at the same time, which is really kind of the best of both worlds. So thank you all for figuring that out and continuing to figure that out on an ongoing basis. Thanks for coming today, and I wish you a great rest of your semester, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Alley.
you.